Hey, we're back on the podcast with Mr. Lior Eldan, and we're here to talk about app growth. We're here to talk about perhaps localizing a brand when entering new global markets. Now, Mr. Lior is the co-founder and the COO of Moburst. They are a global digital full-service mobile-first marketing agency, and Lior and his team, they have worked with top brands like Google, Samsung, Uber, Reddit, and Pfizer, helping them achieve significant growth. And we are going to find out how perhaps we can learn some of these lessons and find out some of the tricks, the secret sauce. You choose your metaphor for what we want to do, because there's the technology and the software, and then there's human behavior, and there's all these challenges building a strong online community. So Lior will get us dialed in, help us out, set us straight. So Lior, glad to be speaking with you.
Nice to be speaking with you, Robert. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And so I did my best to introduce you, but from the source itself, what are you all about? What currently has you so excited, passionate, focused?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Moburst. We are an agency running already for will be our 12th year. So we've been doing this for quite some time now. Started as a mobile-only agency, and really kind of came out about 2013 when mobile and a couple of years after the iPhone, and mobile was booming. Built our brand and worked with a bunch of amazing companies like the ones you mentioned, and many more. And in recent 3 years, we've kind of expanded to being more of a digital mobile first, and acquired a few other agencies. So today we kind of run the gamut across marketing, from PR and podcasting, and obviously marketing and app store optimization, SEO. Even we're dabbling into optimizing for LLMs now. Obviously, user acquisition, media. Runs the gamut across the services and our clientele as well. We still serve those kind of tier one global brands, where typically it's a bit more mobile focused, but also have a bunch of other clients across our different services.
Well, very cool. And so you do so many things, right? And it's such a deceptively hard problem to solve, isn't it? You think, I have an idea for software and I'll get it going. And then now we're in this age of apps and phones. And so the software, it not only has to work, it has to be completely bug free. It has to be fast. It has to be easy to use with bright colors and big buttons and exciting. And then it's also really competitive, isn't it? There's like the app ranking marketplaces, and people always, you see these apps, like they put in these really just amazing techniques where they make it social to get friends involved. They have pop-ups, they get you to use it every day. They have the gamification in place. And it seems like they're always updating. They're always making it better. You figure like most games have like mini games built in that update all the time and have other levels. And it seems like exhausting, right? You listed like 25 different things. And so like with all those tasks to do, with this impossible task in front of you, like what do you think are the do's and don'ts? What do you think that the apps that fail miss out on? And what do you think that you and your agency do that just really makes it all work?
Yeah, so I think one thing we often see, app developers and companies is kind of figure out that they come with the thought that if they build, if the product will be good, people will come. And I think that the reality is that if you look on both the App Store and Google Play stores, there's well over 2 million apps on each one of them today. And as you mentioned, apps that have been years in the making, have a very kind of are very well optimized. So I think the first premise is kind of an app doesn't go viral without marketing, without putting actual dollars. There have been a few tiny few phenomenons that kind of grew viral, but in the most case, it's actually kind of real marketing, either user acquisition or using app store optimization strategies, making sure your funnel is well optimized, working with influencers, kind of doing the kind of go-to marketing and make sure to get the message out. So I think that's the first thing when you develop, you go about and launch an app. Just to not expect the app to kind of succeed in and of itself. It needs that marketing backfire.
I like it. Sometimes, once in a million times, they luck out. There's an Angry Birds that just like takes off. But for the rest of us, we have to apply these tactics, don't we? You mentioned things like funnel optimization and user acquisition and app store optimization and all these interesting things. And so, as far as like you've seen so much, right? You work with big brands, and I'm sure some apps that we've never heard of. And like, what interests and excites you about what you've accomplished? Is there anything remarkable you think as far as like an aha or an interesting turnaround that you and your agency applied to one of these apps that maybe without you might not have succeeded? Maybe.
Yeah, so we actually have several of these. I think so. I think I have stories on both ends, right? We worked with, as you mentioned, huge companies. We worked with most of Google's B2C apps at the time. So thinking about Google and YouTube and Chrome, and being able to move the needle for these monsters has been exhilarating to see kind of the scale and what we were able to do there, and also helping clients like Reddit, which launched their app, moving kind of helping them transition from web to their early days of the app, and many startups where they were just kind of growing with them. Many times we have startups that come to us at the onset of even pre-seed. We help them with kind of getting a strategy together, a go-to-market strategy. They go and they raise some capital from investors. Then they work with us on executing on that marketing plan, reach their milestones, and kind of grow from there. So we've had several of these apps that we kind of have from launch to multi-million and multinational apps.
Well, very cool. And as far as like the places where you've struggled, right? Because like you've gotten these apps to like you've gotten Reddit to like really take off and get in widespread adoption, but then it's never quite a straight line, is it? Sometimes there's the difficulties, the stress along the way. So do you have anything along those lines, or maybe you and your agency like struggled, stumbled, were stressed out, were uncertain, where there was just kind of a problem, conflict along the way?
Yeah, sure. I think the dynamic of digital marketing, and I think increasingly mobile marketing is the fast pace, right? Like TikTok is a phenomenon, and it wasn't even around a couple of years ago. So I think being able to adapt. So I think just to take a recent relatively recent case of the whole iOS privacy change that happened a few years ago, whereby Apple kind of changed the script in terms of what they allow app developers and specifically mobile measurement providers to collect, and that kind of was I think a paradigm shift in many ways in how to kind of read the marketing data of our campaigns, and we got many clients. We needed to kind of work them through this transition, what they can see, what they can't see. So and speaking about kind of the straight line, so overnight for many apps, kind of their whole data stack was almost irrelevant in terms of what they were used to seeing, what they're capable of seeing moving forward. I think the industry has come a long way since, but that's just an example of how you need to kind of adapt to everything that's going on, and the dynamic of the market.
And you bring up an interesting point here that many times these app stores, these marketplaces, they really change their rules, right? You're kind of at the mercy of whatever they decide to make these sweeping changes. And I don't know about you, but sometimes with these app creators, they've kind of been maybe frustrated or gotten maybe like let the emotions get involved. They gotten angry. Like I knew a guy that was involved in Farmville early on, and it was when like the Facebook kind of one-click login became a thing, and he was like, oh well, we don't want to add a one-click Facebook login to Farmville and give them our data, and it's like, but like they all already have everyone's data, right? Apple and Samsung and Facebook, like everyone's on there already. What you're not, it's not like they're only your customers. So is there anything along those lines of like maybe a misunderstanding or a reframing that needs to get out there as far as maybe the frustration these app creators are feeling?
Yeah, so I think again it's a bit technical and nuanced, but one of kind of the premises that Apple uh, came out with is something called the privacy threshold, which means if you run a campaign on Facebook, for instance, and on any one of the networks, until you reach a certain scale, you won't really see too much in terms of the installs. So you might, spend a few $100 and see that it's working miserably, or it's not really driving installs. Where the fact of the matter is that actually you're just not reaching that threshold that Apple dictates. No one really knows what it is. There's kind of industry rumors, but that's just an example of something that might be frustrating. And then you say, okay, maybe if I scale just a bit and reach that kind of threshold, suddenly I start getting more signals. The algorithm can hone in, and that kind of can be a positive snowball in terms of the campaign. So sometimes it's just understanding the intricacies and nuances of how reporting works, how the systems work, and being able to use that to our advantage.
And that seems like why we need someone like you, right? If someone's creating an app or looking to grow it, they need you in their corner, so that way they do know about some of these roadblocks that aren't even really well documented, right? They're rumors until you get to that specific privacy threshold. And as far as like an app growing, scaling, are there logical different like levels, plateaus? You can, like, sometimes people say like, well, I'm growing a company from like, 1 million to 5 million, 10 million. Do you think of the growth of an app in kind of similar milestones, or is it just different for everyone?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely milestone based. I think one of the things that we see with a lot of apps is that reaching a certain scale is it's just basically spending more once you've kind of find product market fit, once you've honed on the creative, the targeting, all of that stuff. And you start to see good results, you can just spend more and scale until a certain phase, and then it kind of okay, and then the costs go up. You're kind of reaching outside of your immediate ICP, your ideal customer profile. Need to think about different ways and maybe different onboardings and different messagings for different types of audiences. Maybe you want to um, go into a new market, and that's kind of a whole different way, and localizing, as you mentioned in the beginning. So I think that's kind of the milestones we tend to see, that like zero to I don't know 0 to 1 is hard, but once you do that, it's just kind of pushing the gas pedal a bit harder. But then once you hit that plateau in terms of okay, now the numbers kind of aren't making sense to just push more budget. I need to get creative. I need to expand to newer marketing channels, maybe outside of kind of the Metas and the Googles, and also markets outside of kind of US, or the ones or the English speaking ones, for example.
I like it. Well, it's fun to think about, right? There's growth and there's scaling, right? There's times when I'm pointed in the right direction and I just need to do more of that, and then times when I say, okay, well now I've gotten to that goal. Now it's time to pivot to other countries or new features, or okay, now the paid ads that I'm doing aren't working. Trying time for something new. So like two different mindsets, right? More of what's working or something new. And once again, it helps to have someone else to think through the big picture, the strategy, the next decisions. And speaking to that, what has you excited about the growth of your own company? What are you working on? What's ahead?
Yeah. So we're increasingly getting asked from our clients to look beyond their mobile, so to optimize their website. Now, kind of traffic is moving outside of people are asking more and more ChatGPT and all the LLMs. So start looking at that and see how we can get our clients listed and be more present there. So making sure we're kind of on top of all the new mediums, AI obviously, and how we can use it to make sure we provide better services, we provide better scale of our services. So rather than having the capacity of every analyst or a creative strategist or designer, suddenly we have the ability of each person to monitor or deploy or create so many different things, and it I think creates immense opportunity for us as a business, just to kind of grow and serve maybe types of customers we that didn't necessarily have the budget beforehand to work with us, because now we can also launch kind of services and products that don't require as much of labor, and on the high end of kind of the brands of the world to provide services which just weren't possible in terms of the amount of designs, the amount of A/B tests we can run, the amount of data we can track and optimize on. So that's what we're really excited and investing a lot of time and resources in.
Oh yeah, and there's so many cool ideas built into to what you said there, right? Like you think about the there's that some famous story about like Google had some web page and they split tested 55 different shades of blue just because whatever website it was, they had millions of people going. So when you're talking about an app with these huge numbers and you can say, well, do I have the button here? Do I have the button there? And you split test that. I mean, that can make such a difference, right? As far as the revenue of the app, people using it, and once you have like those huge amounts of users, then man, now it's party time. And I'm glad that you mentioned AI because it's such a mixed bag, isn't it? Like sometimes you see like Adobe added like a talk to your PDF button, and I used it, and it was like so useless. But then like there's I got an app a couple weeks ago for my son, and he's like he's not speaking as much as he should, so I added like different cards and pictures and the words, and you can tap it and it speaks the word aloud, and it's amazing. And when I started using it, it was like, well, you created a card for like this type of food, like this type of dinner, right? Like bananas. And it said, hey, do you want me to like put in like 10 more foods? And even a few years ago, that feature didn't exist, right? You'd have to go and do all this manual stuff. But now with AI, you just plug it in and it's like, hey, you did one of these. Do you want 10 more of those? And so that's what's exciting, right? When AI is like so built in that it's like magical and we don't even notice it. And so like what's your take on all that as far as like using AI in an app? Like what's your approach, or maybe like what's an interesting usage you've seen?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to unpack there. So I think first thinking about how digital marketing and app marketing evolve. So I think the ability, as you mentioned, to double down on a certain messaging creative. I've heard apps that work with UGC, with user generated content, kind of hone on a creator and a messaging that works, and then basically replace the person with AI, with different AI presenters. So you can basically, instead of having one man speaking, have almost the same the same messaging, the same tried and tested with different voices, different people, women, and it doesn't require so many people to work with as many influencers or creators. So I think it kind of allows for scale and testing, and it also allows for personalization, right? Because especially for apps with this massive reach. Until now, they would need to think of a funnel, onboarding, banner, etc. for each and for kind of user segments. And today, with the clever use of AI and their data, have an almost one-to-one relationship with their customers, speak to them about what interests you, show you the kind of onboarding screen that is tailored to you. So I think personalization is definitely, it will unlock a lot of helpful use cases. And in our case, how we think about it, I think there's lots of, as we do all these different services for apps. So having the ability um, to kind of analyze cross-service, cross-platform, what's going on. A lot of times with these big apps, something happens and metrics spike this way or another, and we're tasked with understanding why. Like, okay, did an influencer post? Was there a PR? Is it something seasonal? Was there an issue with the app? So there's all these different things that can happen that I think if you can also have AI involved, you can kind of train a model to understand, okay, this is what's happened, this is what needs to be done, and this is how we're thinking about it, to kind of act as another analyst on our side based on all of our collective experience, like what actually happened and what should we do in these cases based on all the different cases we've seen.
Well, very cool. Well, you're such a problem solver. And I love your enthusiasm, right? Of this whole the funnel mindset of saying like, well, where is it stuck? What's the bottleneck? What can be improved? You get someone using your app, you onboard them. Where might they get stuck or frustrated or get bored or leave? And there's so much to think about. But that's why if someone out there has an app that they want to grow, they definitely need you and your team at Moburst to get their heads wrapped around that, to do it right? Because life is so short. The apps move at such a fast speed with the rankings and the competitors and the rules changing, and it's like you try to figure it all out yourself. It's really difficult. By the time you do figure it out, it's changed. So it helps so much to have a dedicated team of experts who know this. And so tell me about Moburst. How does someone know if their company and their app is a right fit for you? And if they are, what's the next step?
Yeah, sure. So we're pretty approachable on our website, on social. We actually launched just late last year a new program called Core by Moburst. So traditionally, we've only worked with kind of big brands, Google, Uber, Samsungs of the world. And we've kind of had all these smaller clients and couldn't take them on board because of budget constraints. And last year, we launched this program where we cater to clients with that are a bit more budget constraints, and just with AI and kind of a more core approach. So to try to give them again the essence of our know-how, just again in a price point that would hopefully meet their needs. So just reach out, and we have a team in the US and across Europe as well, and we'll have and we can have a chat and see if there's a fit.
Very cool. No harm in that, right? See if it makes sense to proceed. So that is moburst.com, where they have that core program that Lior mentioned. But also, if you want to have a conversation about hyper growth and what can be done and all those services you mentioned at the beginning to grow your app. And so I'm curious, Lior, do you have any disqualifiers or qualifiers? Like, do you say that someone already like has to have an established app? Do they have to be a certain size? Like, what's the criteria for having this conversation?
No, so we work with apps and companies. Again, today we serve also non-app clients of all different sizes. So we have on the one end PR and podcast booking agency, which work with founders and companies that are just starting off. We also, as I mentioned, do strategy work for them, so help them kind of raise their next round, all the way to the scale up brands which are ready to rock and roll and go live, and have the budgets to actually invest in growth. So as I mentioned, just let's have a chat. I think worst case we'll kind of tell you what if sometimes we feel that an app is just not ready for marketing. So either we'll offer them for us to do some product work, or we'll send them kind of to do to kind of make sure their app is ready for Prime before spending money on it. So in any way, I think it's worth a chat and to see if there's a fit.
Very cool. It is worth having a chat to see what can be done. And so that website is moburst.com. Have that chat, discuss your app, share with Lior and his team what you've done so that you can become your category leader. That means own your category and blast off with hyper growth, because Moburst has helped the world's best and biggest companies exceed their KPIs, and they can help you do the same. So moburst.com is the place to go. But before I let you go, Mr. Lior, it is time for the scary part of the podcast where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking for a fun quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a quote or lesson?
Sure. So I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, and he has a famous quote I really like that I think it's from a commercial he once did, that he says, "I failed over and over again, and that is why I succeed." Um, and I think that with marketing in general, and especially in at times like these where there's so much change going on at an overwhelming rate, it's better to do and fail than not to do. And things usually aren't as good or as bad as they initially seem. So we I think one of the things that kind of has kept us in this business for so long is being adaptable and trying out, and that's kind of what I try to live by and encourage our team.
That's great. I like that a lot. You succeed because you failed along the way to get to that success. And so if you are someone who is very excited and interested about growing your app through some small failures that get you to the bigger success, then Moburst is the agency for you. They were, like we said, apps, websites, getting you booked on podcasts to promote your app and website. It's all taken care of for you. Have that conversation, growth done right, moburst.com, and have that conversation to become that category leader. So thank you very much, Mr. Lior, for being here, blowing our minds, helping us out, telling some amazing stories. I really appreciate you and what you brought here. So thank you.
Thanks, Robert. This is fun.
All right. So